Hi, y'all, and welcome to Charot Room with your Queen Charotera, Lee Faelnar-Te. And we have one of the original OG Charoteras back in the house. My anak is no longer a prodigal daughter.
Hello, everyone. I'm Angel Qinan. I'm a registered nurse, and I'm Lee's trans daughter.
And we have a couple special guests. One is an assistant director of nursing of the NHS. Am I correct?
That's right, Lee.
And she's the super bestie of Amelia of 20 years. And one of my LGBTQ friends from the East. Is London in the East? I have no idea what directions are.
West.
Well, is it West? All right, okay. Well,
Southwest.
He's from the UK and originally from Trinidad and Tobago. Welcome, Kumal.
Hello, thank you, Lee, and thank you for the warm welcome. Nice to meet everyone. I'm Kumal. I'm best friends with Amelia, Lee's sister in the UK here. We've been friends for around 20 years now, which is fantastic. Loved every minute of it and loving every minute of it.
Oh, that's so sweet. And
Nice, so sweet.
My sister is here. She's not only one of the nurse researchers in the NHS UK for COVID-19, which makes me very proud. She helped research for vaccine studies for NoVaVax and other COVID stuff. She's not only my sister, but she is also my bestie from the same birth factory. My gorgeous sister, Amelia.
Hi, everyone. I'm Amelia. As Lee has said, I'm her sister and like a mom as well, should I say? And yes, and I'm happy that I'm actually invited in Charot Room after how many years?
Well,
It started.
It just started last year.
Oh, is it?
because of lockdown. But this started because like my sister is part of the LGBTQ group in her hospital, and my sister told me to watch It's a Sin. It's a huge hit here. I guess it's a huge hit in the UK. Was it shown in Channel 4?
Yes, that's correct.
Yes.
Yeah. And now it's shown here in America through HBO Max. And my sister was like, they're having a talk here about like It's a Sin, blah, blah, blah. And it was interesting, but my sister was like, we can make it more fun. So maybe we should just do our own chat. So, this is the reason for this.
Nice. Well, it was nice. It's nice to meet both of you, and you're all the way from UK. And oh my God, I'm in the presence of like high ranks in the nursing field.
We're all equal, Angel. So no ranks, nothing. We have no power here. Ranks doesn't mean anything. We're here for one purpose, and it's to look after each other, look after our patients, and do the best we can. So no, you're fine.
I love that.
First, let me ask, COVID, since I mentioned COVID already, here in LA, I think they're starting to open up like stuff slowly because like the vaccine rollout is happening. We do it here in tiers. So like I guess like right now it's educators. A few weeks ago it was 65 and older, and also people with underlying health conditions can now also be vaccinated. So we're starting to open movie theaters, sporting events, dine-in restaurants. Am I correct, Angel, or am I wrong?
That's what I've heard on the news, but it sounds like it's gonna start to open, and I guess theaters would start with 15 people inside, so it's gonna start within the. I know, but it's been closed since the pandemic happened, since the shutdown. So it's actually a step up if it happens. And I'm excited and scared. And I don't know, but I follow rules. So whatever it is, then I'll try my best to still keep safe.
And also, what you call this? Amusement parks, I think, are opening with less capacity. How is it in the UK? How are the restrictions?
Should I start, Amelia?
Yeah, yes, you can start, and then I could just add.
Then add into whatever I
Mhm.
may have missed out. So we have a roadmap to come out of lockdown starting on the 29th of March, where we can start meeting friends in the garden, but that number is restricted to how many can come over to your garden to have a drink or to get together. And then as the weeks progress from the end of March into June, there will be further easing of those restrictions. So in early April, we can then go to a pub and sit out in the garden and have drinks or and meet friends that way, more than 6 people at a time. And then as we go into May, the government is looking at how they ease travel restrictions. At the moment, and it's coming into law next week, we cannot travel without a good reason. So they'll be asking you to fill out a declaration form at the airport as to ask, why are you traveling? Is it a valid reason? And have you got the right permissions to travel if you're a UK citizen? So those things are starting to come into force. And I think it's really the roadmap that the government set out is to try and achieve that by minimizing the spread and vaccinating more people. And very similar to yourself in LA and the USA, we have a tier system to vaccinate people, starting with the older people and then coming down. But in between that vaccination, healthcare workers and frontline workers, I should say, a priority to get the vaccination. So probably Amelia's had her 2 doses, and she'll tell us about that shortly. But I've had my first dose of the Pfizer vaccine just after Christmas, and I'm due to get my second dose in the next week. So then I'll have had my 2 doses. So I will be fully protected, but we still comply, as Angel said, we follow the rules. We comply with what the recommendations, with what public health are telling us, and what our local policies are telling us to do. Amelia, if I've missed anything, I'll ask you to come in.
Yeah, that is so correct. But then I haven't had my second dose yet. So I was actually sent away when I went to the hub for my Pfizer vaccine because I had allergies from the flu jabs before. Remember when I was hospitalized because of that?
Yes.
So, and then I tried again sneakily. And then I even said to them, I'll bring up EpiPen. And if anything happens, I'll just stab myself. But luckily, the renal community here went to ask if we could vaccinate all of our renal patients on a satellite unit. So that's when we started having AstraZeneca. And that's when I had mine. So I had the Oxford one. So I was telling my sister, I said, my brother had the Pfizer one. Then my mom had Moderna. Then I'm having the Oxford. So it's like battle of the vaccine. See who has the best protection. But then we still give, like, all the elderlies that are vaccinated actually had all their second doses. And they all said that they were all fine with the 2 doses. And then we still tell them that, even though you've had the 2 doses, still, follow government guidelines, still hand wash, hands, space, and what's the other one, Kumal?
Space, hands, space, and space.
Yeah, that's it. That's what we always tell them. But then we did have a couple of elderlies who actually did not follow government guidelines and I think went out without mask. So cute.
Oh, it happens.
Yes.
It happens
Sorry,
here a
Lee.
lot. No, go ahead.
I was going to say we do have exemption cards for people who can't wear face mask or face covering, which the person who can't wear it will request a card from the government or from the Department of Health that they can display on their person to say, actually, I'm exempt because of a medical problem. So if they're challenged by someone, they can say, actually, I'm exempt, so I don't need to wear a face covering. So I think that's quite useful because there are some people who can flout the rules, and that's a good way of monitoring and trying to reinforce the standards.
Yeah.
I'm curious, who are the ones that are not able to use the masks? Like just a
So
few.
so if you're asthmatic,
Uh-huh.
you don't have to wear it. And then I think so anything that has respiratory diseases, isn't it, Kumal, that would restrict their breathing, then they're exempted. And I think if you're also like mentally
This yeah,
what you call
like
that?
yeah, okay.
Yeah, because then they might, like have their what's the word I'm calling? When it triggers
Claustrophobic.
their anxiety. Yeah, so if it triggers anxiety and they would develop like all of these attacks, then they don't have to wear a mask. But yeah.
Are they allowed still to do like, groceries or like functions like get takeaway
Yeah.
and
So
stuff?
so actually there came a time that's it's only one person who's actually allowed to go in the store.
Mm.
So if you're in a family, then it's only one person who needs to go. You don't have to bring, your kids and whatever. So you don't really see a lot of kids now in groceries, not like before. So yeah,
But
and even yeah.
they limit the number of people in the supermarkets. So there is always a security guard checking people in, and there's someone checking people out to know how much to let in at any one time. So it is regulated based on the size of the supermarket and the number of customers allowed into it.
And how unrestful have the people been? Because I know here in LA, a lot of people complain about like mask mandates and like the restrictions that are happening. Are there a lot of groups that like complain,
Protests.
like protest and stuff like that? Because like, yeah, we've had like there were weeks that it happened, like people were protesting wearing masks, especially
Yeah.
in more conservative parts of California.
I think in the conservative, well, there are always going to be people who've got their own views, rightly or wrongly. We have to appreciate freedom of speech and everyone's right to protest. We have had a couple of protests in Westminster where people felt the wearing of face masks being enforced was restricting their human rights. So there was a couple of protests, but on a whole, most people seem to be compliant. I think the UK has been the worst affected in terms of the number of deaths in Europe, in Western Europe certainly, and it's not bode well for a lot of reasons. And I think the general public on a whole are very much for wearing face covering and keeping hand sanitizer and keeping their space, but you will always get a minority of people. And it's very difficult sometimes to win over that minority. You could give them as much science as you want, but if they feel it's affecting their freedom to their human rights and their freedom to speak and to voice their concerns, we perhaps never going to achieve 100% compliance. And actually, you would never get 100% compliance with anything. Amelia, what's your thoughts? And Angel, it would be good to hear you as well.
Yeah. I think that is so correct as well. There's loads of people. Even when we have our executive, like executive board, like Teams meeting, you could still see like people like saying, "Oh, why do we have to do this?" So they always question authority and even vaccinating. So we're trying to make sure that the whole staff actually would be vaccinated. So each department actually asks, "Oh, how many of your staff has been vaccinated?" And they try to enforce that. So there's a lot of people that say, "Why are you trying to force me? Why is it even on the web? Like as soon as you open your computer, it actually says there that have you been vaccinated? Have you actually?" And then the questions are, did you write a form to say that you're happy not to be vaccinated? So stuff like that. So there's a lot of questions. Why are you like, but then obviously the executive would always say that we want to make sure that you are actually aware and you know why you're actually refusing it. So that at least they would be of sound mind to say, okay, we've offered you and you said, yeah, no to that. So if anything happens.
Yeah. And I suppose before I bring Angel in to get her views from America and LA. we have most recently in the news here, some medical staff and health workers are perhaps declining the vaccination, and the government is going to start thinking about measures to take, whether they are suspended from work or whatever measures, or I don't want to say punishment, that's quite a harsh word, but
Protocol.
how perhaps, yeah, because if you're a healthcare worker and you don't want to get the vaccine, you could still then be transmitting the virus to other people. So what measures do we put in place for healthcare workers, particularly BAME healthcare workers who are more at risk of getting coronavirus, who may not want to have the vaccination?
With my line of work, because the flu vaccine is offered every year, and the flu vaccine is pretty much, you're not also going to get a 100% of people who will take it. It's a little bit more, I think, acceptable. Like most of my coworkers take it at my previous job specifically, but not everyone takes it. And the requirement for the ones who don't take it is that they will have to wear a mask. So sometimes like some staff would reconsider taking the flu vaccine so that they don't have to wear the mask whenever they have to be in front of the clients. But right now, everybody's wearing a mask. So I think in terms of people who want to take the COVID vaccine, it's like we're already wearing masks anyway. So, so why would we take the vaccine if they're already against the vaccine to begin with? So I think maybe that's a possibility. Like if ever people will go back to not wearing masks, then the people who are not taking the vaccine would have to continue wearing masks. I mean, that's one of the things that I could think about just based on what you're saying and what my experience.
I've actually had someone who was so scared of it and I had to convince her. So one of my patient who was a transplant patient was really like telling me, how could they create such a vaccine, so quickly? And I said to them, like, look, you remember the era our grandmothers had, a TB era. They've actually managed to get a vaccine and we've eradicated TB. So this is our era that we have to eradicate COVID. So that is why, and it was actually made in like good laboratories, state-of-the-art laboratories, not just some kitchen when they've concocted this vaccine. And what would you rather have? A small, pain of the arm or a tube down your throat? Because it's not saying that you're not gonna have it. It's actually saying that if you are to have it, it's mild symptoms. So it's one leg out of the ITU.
Yeah, so everybody listen to Amelia here.
I mean, a lot of people, you're right. The question, how could they have created a vaccine so quickly and at pace? And we've had several vaccines from across the globe, from the US to Europe to India. And the thing is, it's the same as your yearly flu vaccine. We know each year the strain of the flu would be different. So scientists start looking at predicting what variant of the flu would come out the next year. They'll look at the data and they'll try and create a vaccine that is most suitable for that variant of the flu that they predict. And they turn that around every year equally. So it's not like we don't have the technology, the skills, the knowledge out there. We do have that to hand. So it's really easy to bring that collective knowledge together to design and develop vaccination at pace. And fantastic pace that we had in the last 9 months, really. Well, it's a year now since we declared the pandemic on the 19th of March. So we're almost there, and we've already in the UK vaccinated more than 20 million people, which is fantastic news.
Yes. So correct.
Okay. That's so cute. Thank you all of you, because like I have nothing to do with like COVID. Just my part is just stay at home, wear a mask, try not to congregate with as much people as possible, and try to just make sure like if I'm in a production or something that it's COVID safe and like we follow the measures, because I have some sort of hypochondriac in me. So like I don't like going out. I just like I try not to make my mental health suffer because it's already hard not like seeing my gorgeous sister in person. Like this would probably be a time that she would come over, I would come over. So
I know.
hopefully people would stop trying to not follow restrictions so that we can come together sooner and go to maybe a gay bar or
Oh
How is it
gosh.
there? Like the gay bars, are they open? You
No, everything is
Nothing's
closed.
open.
It's only the supermarkets that are open at the moment.
so it never closed for the whole year.
No.
it never opened for the
No.
whole year.
Or never
I
opened.
mean, you mean it's the supermarkets?
No, like
no,
the
the gay
gay,
bars.
because like in here in Los Angeles, there was a time when the gay bars were open for brunch and also for drinks. Or were they open at night? I know in New York there were some gay bars that were open, and
Oh,
some
it's
did.
totally closed here, isn't it, Kumal?
Yeah, so over the course of the last 12 months, at the start of the pandemic, everything was closed without fail, except supermarkets and restaurants for takeaways. And then in the summertime, we had a reprieve. So things went back to some sort of normality. So you could have opened, but you had restricted capacity within the bars. So you utilize the outside space. So for example, in Soho, they utilize the streets to buy the drinks, come outside and hang out that way. And then when we went into the second wave, everything shut again. It's really unfortunate to see a lot of bars and pubs and restaurants going out of business because of a lack of footfall. They don't have the revenue coming in, and their overheads are so high. They're trying to maintain their overheads, but they have no income coming in. And some establishments are getting funds from the government. They've released a certain amount they get from the government to help with wages and stuff like that. But a lot of them, you are seeing a lot of them closing, which is very sad, really. And I think this way of virtual living, virtual meetings, and meeting your friends and giving virtual hugs, which is not the same as meeting in person, we've lost a whole year of that. And I think once we come out of restrictions in early April or so, I think there's going to be a flurry of activities and a flurry of people meeting together and going out socializing in whichever pubs and bars that may be open. I'm really looking forward to it, meeting up and actually physically hugging someone, because at the moment you do a fist bump people you haven't seen in a while, not a fist bump, an elbow bump. And we haven't been able to have that physical contact. And I think, as you talked about your psychological well-being, I think a huge part of our well-being in our community is about that physical contact, hugging, kissing, that affectionate side, which we've not really been able to display in the last 12 months. And I think that's really a struggle and a challenge. I don't know what you guys feel. I'd really be glad to hear your views on that.
I think it's a big challenge. Like I was just like with a coworker, like let's say this week, and she was having a tough time, and you could see the teary eye, and my instinct is to hug, and it's so impersonal, like not to be able to do anything, and it's like I want to help you, but I can't. You know, it's yeah. I'm very wishful for what you're saying. And plus what Lee said, I would love to travel to UK and maybe you could take us out in those gay bars out there. Like
anytime.
Enjoy.
There's a trans bar that me and my sister went to. It's called The Way Out. I hope it's still open.
I know. It's
Like
actually
that
a good that was good. That was a very good experience actually, with the songs, the dancing, you know, the people around.
Yeah, because like the performers, I think like some of them are drag queens, but some of them are trans performers too. I'm not sure if you've been to a trans bar in LA, girl. Have you, Angel?
Yeah. We have, of course. Like in LA, yes, but not in UK.
The guys in UK though.
Did you see that, Kumal? That's why I'm
What?
not going to America. I said to myself, no, I'm gonna stay put here.
Oh, the guys in like that bar was cute. Remember, you have to.
Where was it, Amelia?
Was it in Bank?
I don't know. It's called The Way Out.
Yeah, it's way out. I can't remember because we were in the tube.
Yeah,
I
and
think it was Circle Line or was it Bakerloo? I can't remember now.
I forgot, but it's next to a restaurant. They have like an outdoor seating, and then there's like it's so much. It was fun. I really had a good time because like normally here in Los Angeles, when I go to trans bars, a lot of people try to earn a living through sex work. Going through trans bars because a lot of chasers. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the term chasers. A lot of chasers go to trans bars. But
So what are chasers, Lee?
what are chasers, Angel?
So chasers is a term that they use for guys who chase transgender people, but it kind of has like a derogatory meaning because maybe they would jump from one transgender person to another and not be content with one person. But at least that's my understanding of that term, chaser. So
And it's
chase.
normally not for relationships. It's just like because they get a kick out of it. Like I think like they're not there for the long haul, and they pay, which is good for business. But
I think they also have their own issues that they have to deal with in terms
yeah,
of
for
being
sure.
outly proud of attracted to trans and this and that. So I think I really don't like the word chasers, but that's a basic definition, I guess, or the easiest way I can explain.
Yeah, it's sad. But like when I was in UK, I wasn't thinking of that because I just wanted to enjoy. And then y'all took me to Soho. That was fun. Did we go to a place where there was a drag performer or were just go-go dancers? I forgot.
Go-go dancers. We went to the Village Bar, and on a Friday and Saturday you tend to get the go-go dancers. And we went to the basement to the club downstairs, and we danced.
Are you
Kumal-
blushing, Kumal?
No,
Kumal
Yes,
gets
he
I
is.
wouldn't blush.
Like
He is. He's
smiling
getting
and,
hot.
like, reminiscing.
He's remembering all of those things that
Now that you
and
said it, yes,
areas,
Amelia.
So when we go to places, he'd be like, "Oh, I remember that little corner there, that little, other side there where I had this man."
We spoke from being super serious about our careers in nursing to like having fun. Well, but I think that's a good thing because it's really there's also humanity in all of us. We're not just like working like all
Yeah.
the time. We also want our own fun on the side.
Actually, that was one of the things that I said when I was doing the vaccine in the vaccine hub. I did tell them that, look, I do work with a passion, but I can't contain myself if I find someone beautiful or sexy. I have to say it, but don't mind me. I just say it for the sake of saying it. So yeah, so when this policeman came and they wear long sleeves because it's winter and you can't roll their sleeves to actually get their deltoid. So you have to tell them, oh, do you mind if you just, expose your left arm or your non-dominant arm? And they're like, oh, do I have to strip off? I said, later, because if you do it now, I won't be able to actually do what I have to do. And then not only that, so he stripped off with his beautiful blue eyes, because obviously they're wearing masks, so you could just see the eyes, right? I don't know what he looks like underneath that mask. He might be ugly, but there you go. And then after he did that, after he exposed his whole body, which was so muscular, and I had
It's
to
like
tell
you're
him,
back in the club then.
I know, and I'm
One
like,
word.
and then I said to him, can you please not tense your muscle because you're tensing and I'm getting excited.
Art.
And then as soon as obviously because his shirt was out, he had to, take out his pants to tuck it in. And I was like, really? Do you still have to do that? And everyone was listening to him, and they were like, oh, you could hear from each bay the chuckles. I said, oh my God.
That is such a cute story.
So there you go.
To start vaccinating people, Angel.
I know, time to switch careers. Let me give my resume. I want to have some of those.
Yeah, and we're going to have firemen soon.
Are they going to come and put out your fire?
I do not know if they can.
Oh, see, this is why I miss working with you, Amelia.
My sister is like crazy fun. I love her so very much.
But I think it's important to like have a sense of humor also, like at work, because it's such a super serious work. It's so dragging, like the way, like what you experience sometimes. So it really, I think it's important to be the light also to your coworkers.
And I even suggested actually to my like my vaccine family, I told them that maybe we'd have a party wherein we just have like a mask off party when everything is safe to do that. That would be fun. Just like a mask reveal party. No one knows what you look like.
Like a capping or something.
Yeah, because no one knows what you look like underneath your mask.
Mm-hmm.
So do you remember when the first wave happened and we all had to wear the respirator, the FFP3 mask and the visors, and we were deployed, and when you met someone outside of work in the makeshift hospital we had in London, I said makeshift, but the Nightingale Hospital, and they call you by your name and think, yeah, who are you? And then they would do this, and then you go, yeah, you're that person, aren't you? Because we have the visor, and then we had the face mask, and then when you see the eyes only, you recognize who that person was.
Wow.
So that's a really good idea, Amelia. The mask off party.
Yeah.
Really like that.
See?
Can I get an invite, please?
Of course.
Me too.
I can't get my vaccine yet. My vaccine, I think I can get like May or June. I'm the latest one. So like
it's time to make our declaration of why we're traveling.
Yeah.
But I think from May that there's going to be possibility for us to travel from the 17th of May. But I don't think we can come to the US yet because they've not lifted that sort of restriction for British citizens coming over to the US. So I think we still need to wait a bit longer.
No, it's because of the new strain, isn't it, Kumal?
Well, partly because of the new strain, but that's also been the case for the last 9 months or so. Only American citizens from the UK can go to the US unless you get an exemption from the president.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think the goal here is to have everybody vaccinated or at least offered the vaccination by May, Lee, right?
I'm not 100% sure, but
I think that's the goal.
Yeah, that's the goal. I'm not 100% sure. So you know more than I do.
I'm just basing it on what I see on the news. I think that's what our current president wants to happen.
Yeah.
And like, I feel like this conversation is a bit thin. This charutan is a bit thin. It's too short, but we're almost running out of time. And I'm so happy that you guys are here. We have like 2 minutes left before this recording cuts off. So any last messages before like we leave? Any fun quotes or whatnot?
The only thing I could say is COVID for winter has made everyone not have the flu.
Yeah.
So no one was sniffling and coughing in the office. And and I think we've loved everyone now. It's like you live your day like it's always your last now. which is
Aw.
so
I
love you
second
all.
that.
Well, my
Live life.
takeaway for this conversation is I love hearing the hands, face, and space. So
Yes.
keep that.
Hand space.
Hands, face, and
Hands,
space.
face, and
Space.
space.
Like this.
Hands,
Hands,
face, and
face, and
face.
space.
That's it.
Hands, face, and face.
Hands,
Good.
hands, face, and space.
Yes.
That's a new bend and snap. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Bend
love it.
and snap. Remember that, Kumal?
I do remember.
Thank you very much, everybody, for watching. Thank you, Lee. And
Wait,
it's nice to meet you,
Kumal.
Kumal and Amelia.
Kumal,
Thank
Thank you
you.
for having us.
any last words, Kumal?
My last words: live life, love life, whatever will be, will be.
Ooh, nice.
And again, thank you for being here. Thank you, sister, for making this happen. Thanks, Achi.
Thank
I
you
call her
too.
Achi. That's older sister in Chinese. And this is like my sister for now, like Miss Piggy. This reminds me of my sister. So I have her so I can hug her when I miss my sister.
Oh,
And this is like unicorn because my dad's the year of the horse. So here's my dad.
oh.
My two special people. So thank you for joining Charot Room. If you want them back, please like, comment, and subscribe. I love y'all. Bye.
Love y'all. Bye.
Bye.